the dead of night, when the world is quiet, there's something watching, something waiting. Lurking in the shadows of forests, stalking the edges of suburban homes, waiting for you to drift off to sleep. It's known only by one name, the Rake. The Rake is a modern-day cryptid, a terrifying, pale humanoid creature with long limbs, razor-sharp claws, and hollow, soulless eyes. The first known mentions of the Rake appeared online in the early 2000s, but stories about this creature stretch back decades. Some believe it's an ancient being, resurfacing in our nightmares. What makes the Rake truly terrifying isn't just its appearance, it's the way it hunts, stalking its victims from a distance, watching them in their homes, sometimes for days, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. One of the earliest and most terrifying accounts of the Rake comes from a family in upstate New York. In 2006, a husband and wife were awoken in the middle of the night by a strange noise coming outside their bedroom window. At first, they thought it was a raccoon or a deer, until they saw it. According to the wife's chilling account, I woke up around 3:30 a.m., feeling like something was watching me. I looked down toward the foot of the bed and saw what I thought was the dog sitting there. But as my eyes adjusted, I realized it wasn't a dog. It was pale, hairless, and its limbs were too long, almost spider-like. Its eyes were black, empty, and it was staring directly at me. When it moved, it was fast, unnaturally fast. It crawled up the bed and stopped just inches from my face, sniffing the air like it could smell my fear. My husband screamed and it bolted out of the room, disappearing into the night. The couple reported strange sounds and claw marks on their windows for weeks after the encounter, but they were never able to explain what they had seen that night. In 2011, another unsettling encounter occurred, this time in rural Alabama. A hunter named David was camping alone in the woods, miles away from civilization. He had heard stories about the Rake, but didn't really believe in such things. Until one night, something changed his mind forever. David recounts his story in chilling detail. It was around midnight when I heard something moving just beyond the tree line. I thought it was a deer at first, but the footsteps were too heavy, too deliberate. I grabbed my flashlight and shone it toward the noise, but whatever it was stayed just out of reach, circling me. I could feel it watching. Then everything went quiet. No wind, no animals, nothing. Just silence. That's when I saw it. It was crouched in the trees, pale, long-limbed, and hunched over like it didn't belong in this world. Its face was contorted and its eyes were glowing in the light of my flashlight. It let out this low guttural growl that just made my skin crawl. I backed up, grabbed my rifle, but before I could fire, it was gone. Just like that. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't dare. One of the most terrifying accounts of the Rake comes from 2017, in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Wisconsin. A woman, alone in her home, claimed she was attacked by something inhuman. Her report was both horrifying and heartbreaking. It started with small things. Footsteps at night when I was sure I was alone. Furniture moving just slightly. But then, one night, I woke up to a scraping sound coming from my bedroom door. I thought maybe it was my cat, but when I called out, the scraping stopped. And then, the door slowly creaked open. I saw something crouched in the doorway, too tall to be any animal I've ever seen. Its long fingers digging into the wood. It crawled toward me on all fours, its movements jerky and unnatural. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. It just stared at me with those black, hollow eyes. I don't know how long it watched me before it finally stood up, turned, and disappeared into the hallway. Once I regained the courage to move and left my bed, I discovered my cat's crumpled body in the living room, and my back door wide open. I left my house that night and never went back. What is the Rake? Some say it's an ancient creature, something from another realm, a cryptid that's always existed just beyond our understanding. Others believe it's a figment of our darkest fears, brought to life by the internet and shared nightmares. But whether the Rake is real or imagined, the terrifying accounts from those who have encountered it remain disturbingly consistent. A pale, humanoid figure, long claws, soulless black eyes, and a hunger that drives it to stalk, terrify, and sometimes take. So, what do you think? Is the Rake just another urban legend? A creature born from our fears? Or is it something far more sinister, lurking in the shadows, waiting for its next victim? Perhaps it's watching you right now. Did you remember to close your curtains?